Doctor Who, The Keys of Marinus, the fifth story of the first Doctor, is written by Terry Nation and starring William Hartnell, William Russell, Jacqueline Hill and Carol Ann Ford. So originally it had a script calling it Doctor Who and the Hidden Planets by Malcolm Hulke, and because of problematic and needing a rewrite it got scrapped. And Terry Nation, who was doing the 8th story, The Red Fort, but focusing on other projects and it needs a quick writing, so they made first 2 episodes in different settings and casts having the TARDIS team search for pieces of puzzles, which I think it's a great idea. David Whittaker suggested a cold snowscape and a hot jungle, and Terry Nation used the existing name Marinus, a Latin word for of the sea. Morphoton is based on the Greek god of dreams. Morpheus Millennius came from the term millennium. Even though John Gorrie wasn't happy with the script, he agreed to direct the story. So episode 1, The Sea of Death, the TARDIS lands in Marinus at the islands where the beach is made out of glass, and the sea was made of acid. While someone is in black suits patrolling, Susan was about to get in the sea, but then they notice her shoe gets dissolved in the acid sea.
Ian, what is it?
Must be some sort of acid.
So Ian lends her his wellies so she can go back to the TARDIS to fetch another pair of shoes. So she went out and she gets followed by a Vord. While the Doctor, Ian and Barbara examines the glass submarine and finding Susan is not at the TARDIS, Susan is in the corridor about to get taxed by Vord, which is intense, so the Doctor, Ian and Barbara went to the corridor and heard Susan screaming as she fell through the spinning wall, which is pretty effective. So the Doctor went through, Susan was about to get taxed by Vord, but it fell, with the knife on the Vord's back. Then Barbara and Ian went through, Susan, the Doctor and Barbara reunited. Vought was attacking a guy in the white cloak, so Ian helped him. So we cut to the scene where the Doctor and his companions meet Abitan in his control room, sending them a quest to find his 5 keys for his computer, and they're in different locations. So the Doctor and his companions refused, so they went back to the TARDIS and finds that it's surrounded by a force field. So they went back to accept the mission.
As soon as you've started your voyage, I will release the force field. Your ship will be available to you when you return.
If we return.
So they teleported somewhere while Abiton gets stabbed to death. The Doctor, Ian and Susan are teleported somewhere outside the metal door and realise Barbara is missing and her teleporting device is lying around and got covered in blood. Wonder what happened there?
Look, there's blood on it.
So episode 2, The Velvet Web. They went to search for Barbara. As the door opens, there's flash and alarm, and next thing we know, they ended up in a room full of furniture and food, and Barbara is enjoying herself.
What a nice little place you got here.
You haven't seen anything yet.
Huh?
Will you get some food for my friends?
So everyone got comfortable, which is unexpected, and they met 2 people, Altos and Sabatha. As everyone is sleeping, Sabatha places the disc on them to hypnotise them, but the disc fell off Barbara, which had no effect on her. So after everyone woke up and she was disgusted by what's going on there, we learned that Sabatha is Abaddon's missing daughter. So Barbara escapes and she gets Sabatha to be herself again, but failed. So the brains of Morphoton orders Altos to take her away and stop Barbara from escaping, but Sabatha managed to knock him out. So Barbara went to see Ian, who's been ordered to kill her, which is intense.
On our power to erase this from your memory, you must be destroyed.
So she smashes the control room and life support systems and it dies, and everyone is back to themselves. So Altos and Sabatha joins the Doctor and his companions for quest to find all the keys. So the Doctor goes to find the final key in the city of Millennius, and the others went to look for the second one, and Susan is passing out by a screeching noise in the woods. In episode 3, The Screaming Jungle, the noise stopped. Everyone went to see Susan if she's okay, and we're all good. And Flora grabbed Susan, but she got free, so Barbara went to the statue even though Ian told her not to. So Barbara has found the key on a statue but ends up at the other side of the wall. Sabatha noticed that the key is fake, so Ian went to the other side of the statue and was about to be attacked by a statue with an axe and killed Ian. Nah, not really. Barbara warned him and he dodged, so Ian and Barbara split up. and Barbara gets captured in a net by Darius, who's a dying old scientist. So Ian got Barbara free and helped Darius to the bed, and he tells them that the code just before he dies, which is DE302. So they tried the safe, but it didn't work, as the lab is about to get destroyed by trees, which is really cool scene.
Look! Oh, Barbara, don't you see?
Ian realises the codes are letters and numbers for chemicals, so they got a second key and teleported in the snow and couldn't even move anywhere, which leads to cliffhanger.
We must move. If we don't find shelter, we don't stand a chance.
Again, I loved William Hartnell as the Doctor. The more you watch his episodes, the more you like him, and the more he becomes caring and a hero. You might have noticed that the Doctor is not in part 3 and 4 is because William Hartnell was on holiday for 2 weeks, which is fair enough, and you can't blame him for needing a holiday. At least the characters other than the Doctor are so likeable, which makes it so good. Like I said, William Russell and Jackie Lynn Hill as Ian Chester and Barbara Wright. Love those two, very likeable. Same with Carol Ann Ford as Susan Foreman. Unfortunately, Carol Ann Ford wasn't happy with her character, Susan, and described her as pathetic, as she's written like a child. I don't think she's pathetic. George Couleris played Abberton, who's a scientist and the keeper of conscience of Marinus. I think George played the character well. John Gorey described him as a hero, and when he read the script, he thought of George Couleris, which is cool. And Abberton is based on a Latin word, arbiter, meaning a judge. He also has a daughter, Sabatha. John Gorey wanted the character to look like a princess, so he casted Catherine Schofield. Just like Robin Phillips as Altos, as John felt that he's handsome enough, and they both did a great job in the role. I love the chemistry with them, with the TARDIS team. Vassar, who's the guy that lives in the snow area on Marinus, who's a trapper, and Francis de Wolfe played the character so well as he's terrifying. Donald Pickering played Ison, who's a suspect of stealing the key from the museum, and he's also a prosecutor in the court of Millennius on Marinus. Henley Thomas played Taran, who's an investigator in the city of Millennius. Heron Carvick voiced Morpho, and they are a race of disembodied brains with eyes on stalks, created the city of Morpheton on Marinus and enslaved the populace to take care of them and do their will. Love to see them returning. And John Gorey was impressed with Heron Carvick's portrayal, which I can see why. Fiona Walker and Martin Court played Carla and Aidan, who are the suspects of stealing a key and the murder of Eperin. The casts did a fantastic job. I like the Vords. I thought they're pretty cool, and it's nice to get Ian Chesterton action figure with them. They should bring them back as well. Vords are semi-aquatic beings that try to conquer many ocean planets, including Marinus, Candelinga and Hydra. The story is well written and directed, it has great ideas, the music by Norman Kay is fantastic. Snows of Terror, Ian and Barbara passed out, so Vaza rescued them and gave them shelter and food. He said he's seen Altos and the other two girls, so Ian gave him his teleporting watch for a furry coat and a lamp, so he went out and leaving Barbara alone with Vaza. At that moment she sees the keys from Sabatha. We find out that he's a trapper, horrible man. As Ian finds Altos, he goes back into the house and saves Barbara from Vaza, so they go into the cave where Susan and Sabatha are, and as they reunite, Vaza detached the bridge, leaving everyone trapped on the other side.
Wait there forever! There's no other way out!
So after Ian fixes the bridge and got the key, ice soldiers came to life, so everyone got across. Ian traps them and everyone went back to Vasa's house. As he attempts to kidnap Susan, he gets stabbed to death by an ice soldier from the other side of the door. So everyone teleported away. Ian appears in a museum and he sees a corpse. As he looks at the key, he gets knocked out by someone and stolen a key, setting the alarm off and putting a mace in Ian's hand, which leads to episode 5, Sentence of Death. Ian gets accused of stealing the key and the murder of Eperin and gets questioned by Taran. So at the course, the Doctor is there. Yes, nice to see him again.
The laws in this country are a mockery.
I quite agree with you, my boy.
Doctor!
Grandfather!
And they gave the Doctor time to find out what happened to Eperin, and I guessed it was Aidan who attacked Ian and stolen the key. So Barbara and Susan talks to his wife Carla, who doesn't give any answers, so they went out and listening to her conversation and heard Aidan slapped her, which is uncalled for. So at the course, the doctor tricks Aidan to confess, then got shot to death. So Barbara gets a telephone call from Susan saying they have to stop investigating, otherwise she dies. Uh-oh.
Susan!
They're going to kill me.
Susan?
Episode 6, The Keys of Marinus. So everyone figures what's going on, so Barbara asks Carla, who burst out in tears as she has no idea. But after they left, obviously Carla is lying and sees Susan tied up. But at that moment, Barbara knew something is not right, because Carla knows that Barbara phoned Susan as Carla was about to kill Susan, but everyone restrained her, and Barbara set Susan free. So the plot is uncovered, the doctor has a final key.
How did you know it was there, Doctor?
But it had to be. I knew it all along.
And it's pretty amusing. After when the doctor and his companions disappeared away and Taran and Clerk were like, I'll just say that they're left. So Yartek pretends to be Aberton, Altos and Sabatha have all the keys except the last one. So Yartek placed all 4 keys in the computer, so then Altos and Sabatha gets tied up. The doctor and his companions gave Yartek the last key and set Altos and Sabatha free and got away. They revealed that they gave him the fake one because they knew it's not Aberton. So Yartek inserted the fake key in the computer, which caused an explosion. So the doctor and his companions say goodbye to Sabatha and Altos, and they're obviously becoming more than friends. So they went back in their TARDIS and disappeared. But yeah, I think this is a fantastic story. It's really ahead of its time. So, what do you guys think of this story? Let me know in the comments down below. As always, thanks for watching and see you in the next video.